Hello, welcome back. Now, without further ado, let's welcome to the show Greg Swenson, chairman of Republicans Overseas. Greg, I'm really enjoying these sort of final throes of the US election campaign. Gosh, it makes our politics look boring. It really does. So first of all, let's start off with good old Joe, the relic. He's been caught saying or calling Trump supporters garbage and deplorables. Now, he's suggesting that he's only referring to one supporter, the comedian who was part of Trump's big rally, who suggested Puerto Rico was a floating island of garbage, but it didn't really come across that way when you listen to Joe Biden's comments.
Yeah, I actually thought he just demonstrated his cognitive challenges. I really don't think he meant to say that Trump supporters are garbage or deplorables. I mean, he just can't deliver. He can't communicate anymore. So the Democrats have a choice. They can either say, yes, he's got his cognitive skills and he delivered a message that half the country are deplorable, or that he's got cognitive issues and can't communicate. So either, and then that's the great cover-up that they went through for, the first 7 months of this year. So either way, that it's not a good look, but I honestly don't think he meant to say that.
Let's talk about the rhetoric in this campaign, and especially that coming from the Democrats, because it seems to me, watching that big rally at Madison Square Gardens, that Trump is increasingly going down a positive route, a sort of hopeful route, it's sort of high energy, high happiness, really, with Elon Musk bouncing around on the stage like Tigger, Hulk Hogan. It was like a really strange sort of, sequel to the Incredibles or something. I don't know. But meanwhile, on the other side, you have the Democrats really going for this line about Trump being a tyrant and Trump being a Nazi. But is that actually playing well to American people?
Alex, it's completely backfiring. And you're absolutely right. We were hoping that the Trump campaign would really be positive and talk about the issues. And he's done that recently. He didn't do it for much of the campaign, especially in late July and early August when Kamala became the unelected nominee of the party. So it's great to see, and the haters will hate, right? The Democrats, the Kamala Harris campaign is just going completely negative, calling ridiculous things like calling him a fascist or Hitler or whatever. It's backfiring, and that's why Trump is trending in the polls. It's great news.
Not only that, it seems to me Donald Trump has probably, I would say, rightfully seized upon this and said this is dangerous, that, there's been 3 assassination attempts against me. How divided is America going to be? Because looking at polling, what we sort of hope for in Britain is that America ends up having a decisive result so people can just try to move forward. But it seems increasingly likely that that's impossible. We've had a story where police have had to remove 2 American women from a BA flight at Heathrow because they broke out into a fight over a Donald Trump MAGA hat. I mean, this is, if anything's going to be emblematic of the state of America right now, it's that. Are you concerned that if this competition is tight, there's going to be a huge outbreak of disorder, that, that America's going to be ever more divided?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Look, in 2016, when Trump won, for the most part by surprise, they had the massive rallies, following the election, the Women's March. And in 2020, the election occurred after a summer of violence, led by Antifa and BLM and the other sort of anarchists. And so they were boarding up buildings in Washington the night before the election and in New York and in my hometown of Chicago. It's sad to see, and I hope it doesn't happen. Look, the Trump campaign, in my view, has taken the high road. President Trump yesterday said a really nice thing about Biden. He said he didn't know what he was saying. So he didn't jump on the opportunity. He didn't jump on the mistake that was made, like we saw with the joke at the rally on Sunday. The Democrats and the activist media in the U.S. just jumped all over that. Like, they ignored the fact that 100,000 people showed up in a very blue city, which is New York City, especially in Manhattan. And so it was really interesting to see the difference between the way that the Democrats jumped all over that and the way President Trump just sort of downplayed it yesterday.
I think one of the big questions that all of us are asking to ourselves now, and of course this is being fed as well by the Democrats suggesting that he wouldn't accept the result, is if it does transpire that for whatever reason it's Kamala Harris who becomes the President of the United States, how do you think Donald Trump is likely to react?
I think much much better this time. First of all, he really truly felt like the election was rigged. And so in many respects, this time around, first of all, he's not president. He doesn't have the apparatus of the government. He's not sitting in the seat. And so I think there's a real opportunity for him to take the high road. And then, of course, you have the fact that, you know, the apparatus, yes, the voting apparatus is still controlled by Democrats in cities like Philadelphia, Detroit, and Milwaukee. Those are key cities in those three swing states. But I do think the Republicans this time around have gotten way ahead of it. We're doing much better in early voting, much better in mail-in voting. And we have people on the ground that are monitoring the elections to make sure there's no cheating.
Well, fingers crossed. We hope that it all goes by smoothly. I'm sure we'll be catching up again before that. Greg Swenson, head of Republicans overseas.